was one of the 8 presidential candidates in the 2016 general elections. So did Professor Vanasius Baryamureeba completely hang his political boots? What does he make of the political dynamics in the round 2021? What is his insight into the developments in Sudan, where longtime ruler Omar Bashir has been toppled? On the spot tonight, we speak to former contender for the presidency, Professor Vanasius Baryamureeba. Professor Vanasius Baryamureeba, thank you very much for honoring our invitation. A warm welcome to you.
It's always a pleasure being here.
I think I should start with a disclaimer because you are my OB.
Aha.
But
also the disclaimer on hanging boots.
Even though we went to the same school, I'm going to be putting the questions
Yes.
that we need to hear from you
Yes.
as a former contender for the presidency. Professor Baryamureeba, in my introduction, I was saying whether you hang your political boots. What is the state of affairs in your...
The state. I mean, the issue is that I ran for president. I did campaign across the country. They did vote for me. I was actually among the fresh candidates. I was the best candidate. But you know, you don't have to run every time there is an election. So this time around in 2021, I said I'm not contesting. And also, you know, politics are like religion. I've decided to join NRM.
You have decided to join NRM?
Yes. I mean, when you are Protestant, when you are Catholic, when you are Muslim, you are free to join another religion. And that is the case world over.
What is it that the NRM has done the last couple of years, 2 years, that for you to think now you can do your Damascus turnaround and join the party that you wanted to contest against, and you always spoke thinking that it is not up to what is required to lead Uganda? What is it in the last 2 years?
In the last 2 years, you know, when you are making a decision, for example, let's say if you are Muslim and decide to join the Catholic Church, you don't go back and say, what is it they did in the last 2 years? It's about vision. So for me, when I look at the politics in this country, when I pray about it like a Christian, I actually see that, you know, NRM is going to be in the power for the next 50 years. So it's not like being opportunistic. If you're interested in politics, contribute to that party, because I don't have 200 years to live. And contribute does not mean that you should come up and become another DC, become a minister. No. Once you're in a party, you contribute at various levels. You do not have
any ideological difference with the NRM. You just think that because NRM is going to be in power for 55 years, and that's what you think, and you think you're going to be excluded, the most important thing to do now is to join it, and if there's anything to eat, you eat now.
No, it's not about exclusion. It's about making a contribution. Let me give an example. If you're in America and you're not a Democrat or Republican, you can never be in power. So if you want to make a contribution, you have to be in any of those two parties. Now in Uganda, it's a different case. We have, can you assure me that actually FDC is stronger than it was in 2016? Is DP stronger than it was in 2016? Can actually DP or UPC win an election in this country of presidency?
So you are joining NRM because you are realizing that NRM is not beatable at this moment.
It's not only being beatable, it's about making a contribution.
You must have had a difference of ideas.
Definitely.
You cannot jump on the bandwagon because you think this bandwagon is here for long.
You see, when you have a difference of ideas, you have to look at how best can you make your ideas matter, you know? So you may have good ideas and remain in opposition for life. I don't want to do that. So I have good ideas. And actually, after the election, if you remember, I handed over my manifesto to NRM. Say, you can use these ideas. You are the party in power now. Have the manifesto, have everything. Use what you need to use.
Do you now submit that your ideas are inferior?
They are not.
Then if you don't have inferior ideas, why are you now, throwing in the towel? Because you convinced Ugandans, you crisscrossed the entire country.
Yes.
You inspired some young people.
Definitely.
They heard your voice.
And they still
now
love me,
midway you are telling them that your superior ideas, you are handing them to inferior group.
No, no, that's not the case. It doesn't mean that when you have superior ideas, the other party's ideas are not superior. You know, all of us can front what we think is best for the country. But the time comes when you have to see the convergence. Where is convergence? And I can assure you, when I look at FDC as a party, I look at NRM as a party, if you ask me, and they say, close your eyes, which of the two do you join? I wouldn't join FDC. MDC came out of NRM and it's worse than NRM. But that's what people don't want to accept.
People believe that Professor Vanessius Baryamureeba is building a foundation upon which the other political parties or our journey in politics is going to anchor on your foundation. But
And
now the foundation is no more.
And that
Why
foundation,
did you take Ugandans for a ride?
That foundation, I did it as an independent candidate. I didn't do it under any political party. So I'm saying I don't have to remain an independent. You know, if, for example, my idea was to be president of this country, you cannot do it as an independent. You need structures. That's why I'm looking at my friend Bobby Wine. And I say, if he gets on the ballot paper in 2021, you wait and see how many votes you'll get. You remember the experiment of Right Honorable Mbabazi?
Your own experiment.
No, his experiment, because he was a very popular candidate and people thought he would win without structures. And you saw what came out. So to me, really, it's about making contribution to your country. And I can assure you that I'm going to make contribution to this country. And I'm already doing it.
People watching you right now, with all respect, are saying, there he goes, he's a very opportunistic politician.
No.
He wants just to,
to
have a
let me tell you, people
part of the cake.
People who are opportunistic, you will see them by their actions. If you remember when I said I'm going to join NRM, nobody fronted me. You never saw me at NRM office here. Where is it? In Chadono? Like I'm being fronted, that I'm negotiating a deal. I don't do that kind of stuff. Because I don't need to be like given a political position to survive. No. So I'm different. But I can contribute to my country through a party I feel is making contribution to this country. So
doesn't it bother you that there has been only one leader leading the NRM party as chairman, and probably he's going to do that for 40 years or even 55, like you're saying, and yet there are people who are slightly younger like you who have dynamic ideas that maybe could add value to our country, and they are not given opportunity.
And actually, if you check, I'm one of those who told Uganda that President Museveni is going through for at least 51 years. And you see, if you go to countries like America, like UK and other countries, it is very clear. Remember when Hillary Clinton lost to Obama that first time? She had a lot of support. She could have come up as an independent, but she didn't. Trump, they didn't want President Trump when he became a candidate for the Republicans. The second guy in the Republican could have said, I'm going to run as independent. They did not do it. Because they knew that you don't have to engage in an exercise where you're going to fail.
But how do you reach that conclusion that he's going to lead for 51 years? Now, you are a great mathematician and a celebrated one at that.
And
have you used any kind of algorithm?
And I'm a scientist. Yes. Let me give you the data.
What algorithm?
No, just look at the recent elections, LC1 elections. The last time I counted, NRM had over 90% of LC1 councillors. These are people at the village level. You go to LC5 chairpersons. You look at the districts we have today. How many are they? Each district has another DC. Have you ever seen another DC who is loyal to an opposition political party? Who have these DSOs
what
and so
are you talking about?
What I'm basically telling you,
that is an abuse of our politics, because RDCs are not supposed to be in partisan politics.
Yes.
So are you going
what
to
I'm
join that
telling
party?
you, what I'm
because,
telling you, not
because the party is so fused in with the state.
What I'm telling you,
Professor Baryamureeba, the NRM party,
yes,
and the position they're talking about of RDCs, who perhaps are supporting NRM, that's not a job they're supposed to be doing, because they're supposed to be impartial.
And that is the whole point I'm telling you. When you look at NRM, it's not a political party, it's a revolution. Like the way you saw in Cuba, the way you saw in China, even in South Korea. What we need as a country is to give President Museveni enough time.
Okay, you have
once
now,
he finally leaves,
it's revealed now
once
by
he
Professor
finally
Baryamureeba.
Yes,
it's
once
revealed,
he finally leaves,
it's revealed on
you
the
can
show.
talk about
Professor
politics.
Baryamureeba, it's revealed NRM is not a party.
Yes, it's a revolution. And I'm not the first person to say it, even President Museveni
Yeah,
told
but
you.
it makes, from a professor like you,
Yes,
a former
it
vice
is.
chancellor of Makerere University, when your analysis is
I'm
made,
telling you.
your analysis matters.
Yes.
So why
It's a revolution.
Why don't you think of
and
building?
you don't think that you are going to remove a revolution, who is at the head of a revolution, through like
I've never seen this kind of submission.
No, I'm telling you.
By somebody so young like you,
Yes,
that
and
has
I'm
so
telling
much
you.
ahead of him.
Yes, I do.
So why don't you
And
want
I'm
to
giving
build?
you facts. You know, Ugandans at times don't want to face reality. And that's the reality. Now, you tell me if anybody in NRM is going to dare and remove President Museveni as chairman of NRM or as presidential candidate using a ballot paper.
So you would rather...
I'm not NRM. NRM has more than 10
So your
million
mantra
people.
is, let me join them because you can beat them.
Not necessarily.
That's what it
What
is.
I'm basically telling you that me,
You're
let me tell you what I'm telling you.
You have been beaten to submission.
No.
By the NRM juggernaut.
No, not necessarily. You see, you assess the situation. You do situation analysis. Some of us will do stakeholder analysis. We do a lot of consultancies. If you find out most of the stuff I do is consultants, and every maybe 2 weeks I get a new consultancy, and these things we do, they inform us. It's like research. Research informs us to take informed decisions. Now, we may want to run away from this situation. Like I can tell you, and Mr. has told you, that all these 4 or 5 times he has contested against President Museveni, he knew not win, but he was there. Ask him, why was he there contesting when he knew he was not going to win?
This is about
maybe
you,
it's part
sir.
of survival.
This is not about Dr. Besigye right now. This is about you.
Yes, it's about me. So ask me, what do you want to know?
So you have submitted.
Yes,
that even though you had superior ideas that you told us about in your contest when you are contending for power, now you want to submit to the NRM.
No.
Even
politics,
though you know that you have
see,
just revealed here that it is not a party, you are joining it anyway.
Let me tell you something. I'm joining a revolution. Let me tell you something. You know, when you talk about superiority of ideas, it's not you to determine. It's the people on the ground. What you consider superior, for them, they may not look at as superior. Have you seen, like some of us, we said, you don't need these many districts. But the people wanted them on the ground. Because for us, we feel there's a lot of public expenditure. They wanted them, even opposition politicians wanted those districts. But we now know that the more districts you have in this country, the more you entrench NRM. Because every district comes with woman MP. And in most cases, these positions are taken by NRM. And so on.
So the creation of so many administrative centers, is it a good thing in your view?
It's not. But you're
going to join it
What
anyway.
I'm saying, politically, it is working. And now if you look at people keep talking about changing political systems. If you dare now change from the presidential system to a parliamentary system, you are likely to entrench NRM for even 100 years. Because by the time you reduce the NRM strength in parliament to just below 50, it can take you 100 years. You look at the structures.
If they have used state infrastructure to remain in power, if they have used the money and the military and all these kind of things that you know are not right in a political multi-party dispensation, but you still want to join them,
No,
even though you know that's not the correct path they're taking.
You see, when you join a system, you want to ensure that you push for continuous improvement. That's why I'm telling you these issues the way they are, factual, the way they are. But what I can assure you is that beyond President Museveni, things are going to start changing within NRM. And NRM might transform into a party and a better party. You know? But right now, we have a revolution with a revolutionary leader. He has to serve out his time. He will be like President Castro. When his time comes, he can easily actually hand over to somebody he will decide on. But he can use the party structure to say, that's the candidate. So when that time comes. But before he says so, forget about that. The NRM will change leadership at the top.
You know,
this
is very interesting. Yes. Because maybe you even have a double life, because you are not the Professor Baryamuneba I was listening to in 2016.
No,
and for you to have evolved so much fast, your evolution has been so rapid.
No, let me tell you, 2016 I was a presidential candidate, and I went in me as barrier. Nobody pushed me to that campaign, and I did my campaign. I ran a good race, and I finished very well. And I was happy about it. Even now, when I go to Guru, when I go to Karamoja, they say, hey, Professor, our president. They know me. So when they ask me, when I come, I say, no. Leave it to God. God is timing. But for me, I did my part then. But I feel today it is time for me to serve my country. I want to repeat this.
Yes.
Serving my country, I'm not looking for a political position. That's why you'll not see me, looking for this. No. I have a lot of work to do. I have been training people to employ themselves. I have employed myself. So
the NRM government, the NRM party that you want to join, that has been leading this
I'm not going to join.
That you have joined, that has been in power for all this. In the area of education, what transformation has it made? For example, people, the other day there was a report that university graduates are leaving and they are not even ready for the job market. We go to some of these rural schools, including places near Kampala here. Some children are still studying under the tree. Yes, you have given us a universal primary education, but the quality is so low.
Yes, but you go to other countries where they have been changing leadership every 5 years or 10 years. Is the education system better than in Uganda? This is not just a problem for Uganda as a country. It's about resources. It's about high birth rate, which we did not control that. You know, we have so many young people. The demand on the social services is so high, but we are beginning to see.
So are you saying we don't have resources?
We don't have enough resources.
Yet,
let me tell you.
Yet the other day,
even if you provided
the Black
whole
Monday
budget,
movement was showing us we are losing about 900 billion in corruption every year.
You see, look at a country like
You have
Singapore.
seen grand corruption that has been taking place.
Look at a country like Singapore.
Theft of public resources at an industrial scale.
Maybe even a country like Singapore. Look at a budget of Harvard. Harvard, if you get the budget for the cleaning the compound alone, is more than the budget of Mackay University. Just cleaning the compound at Harvard is more than the budget of Mackay University as an institution. So if you look at the whole budget of Harvard, it's like 70% of Uganda's national budget. Just one institution. What I'm basically telling you,
you're giving us a topmost university in the
Nambano
economy.
I'm trying to tell you.
And when all those,
even if we put the whole budget of this country on education, we will not still have quality education. I can assure you. We need a lot of money to inject in the education system. And one way of doing it is let's reduce on the number of people joining the primary education system. And we can only do that if we control the birth rate. This is something we've been running away from. The average family size now is close to 7. You know, that's a very, very high number. We need to reduce to about 2 or 3. You know, so these are realities.
So the government in power has no role in trying to make the education system in Uganda better.
They have a role.
So they have not done their role.
And
so they have not done their role.
Let me tell you, I've done something very good. You've seen so many private schools mushrooming. That's creating an environment. The private, the entrepreneurs have come in and started some schools, started these universities and so on. The government has also moved in. I chair this Uganda Business and Examinations Board.
Yes, you do.
If you go across the country, there are so many mushrooming technical institutes, almost in every district, that are providing quality education. We are seeing lots of grants coming in to give a facelift to existing institutions. So the government is trying, but I can assure you,
but you know those technical institutions, I've seen one in Namutamba, I've seen one in Ichenjojo.
Yes.
You know the enrollment is very low.
The enrollment is very low. You see, the issue is what should come first. If you are waiting for people to say we want vocational education, and then you put an institution there, it will take you 50 years. Put the institution there and encourage students to go to such an institution, and they will come.
Yes, but some of these institutions have been there for long, and the enrollment is low. Some of these institutions that were built long time ago have been turned into universities.
That's what you have to work on as people from Chenjojo and so on. Me, if there is a vocational institution in Uganda, I'll go there and have done it and promote vocational education, and people are going to that institution. So we want to act as role models, because we have graduates who have finished their degrees and have no jobs. Yet these guys who have finished vocational education and have a certificate diploma are employed. They're employing themselves. So let's push people there.
But then why hasn't the government done that?
This is not only the role for government. You need churches, you need us people in these communities,
but
you need secondary school teachers. Everybody should come in.
The people in leadership have the mandate to lead, and they're supposed to lead us and show the way. They have not.
The president is an executive president. He delegates power all the way down. You have permanent secretaries, you have district education officers, you have all those people, LOC 5 chairpersons. It is their role. You cannot expect a president to say, I'll go everywhere in the campaign.
Well, because we have seen him. At least we have even seen him carry money. We have seen him go to sub-counties. We have seen him do something that should have been done by the LOC 5 chairperson or even a sub-county chief. But he has done those things.
But that does not take away their roles. If you're a community, you have to look after yourselves. You know, when I was visiting vocational institutions and I went to Masaka, I was impressed by what the Catholic Church has done in that part of Masaka district. There are so many church-founded vocational institutions, and they have students, 700, 1,000, doing technical education. Even this Muteswano University, when they created it as a university, at that time I was at TPTP, and they took away that Masaka Vocational Institute. It was a great institution.
You have been a vice chancellor of Uganda's topmost university, and you also had started your own university.
I started, it's not hard.
You started your own university, yes. But you know the government is having a scheme of something called the retooling these graduates, that they leave university, but they are not even ready for the job market.
Yes.
So why are you not giving us graduates who we don't have to retool them, we don't have even to train them again? What's the purpose then?
But it's like if you go to a hospital and you diagnose the patient and you say we need medicine worth 100,000 and the person has 10,000, that person cannot be treated fully. So what is happening in these institutions, that the cost of education is so high, like it's supposed to be like in the area of sciences, an average of 20 million shillings, but we are putting in 3 million shillings. That cannot produce a graduate. Look at a course like chemical engineering. If you're going to do chemical engineering in the UK, the same chemicals they use in the UK, the same chemicals used here.
That's an indictment on the government that you are supporting tonight.
But as I'm telling you, we don't have enough resources. You cannot put all the money in education. You need some money for infrastructure, money for health services, money to pay salaries. You see people striking all the time. So you have to partition those resources. What I'm saying, one of the things we have to do as a country is to wake up and start controlling the birth rate. If you talk about middle income status, you can't do it with this population.
How much is given to the
when I go to the village, let me tell you, when I go to the village, people amuse me. I have 2 daughters, and I told them I'm done. But I keep looking, you mean you can't produce? They make noise, eh? But after like 20 minutes, then they start asking me, I want this. I don't have school fees. My children are sick. My wife is sick. But they cannot manage their own families. Yet they were pushing me like 20 minutes ago, say, give us money, give us this. So our families have to be educated. Control your families. Have manageable family sizes. That's what we have to do.
But you do not see a role now of government, the role of leadership
the government has a role
in trying to manage our population so that we can
be
able to get what they call a demographic dividend.
Yes. You can talk about that if you have a huge population to have a demographic dividend, but I can assure you it happens in China and other countries. But in this day and age, where we are having robots taking over some work, you're having technology like ICT also, people don't have to do a lot. Banks, remember, they used to close at around midday to do manual things up to around 8 p.m. at night. But now banks can close at 6 and people start leaving office. So to me, with all these technological changes, we really have to focus on controlling the population. Otherwise, we are not going anywhere. You've seen in Kenya they are trying it, in Rwanda they are trying it.
But that train for controlling the population has left the NRM. It left already.
It left, and
you think you want to join it?
No. You see, when you are joining an institution, you don't join it because of one thing. You look at several factors. It's like when you are getting married, or somebody's getting married. Anything you do in life, when you make a choice, you list 20 things or 100. You say among the 100, what are those that matter? Maybe top 10.
Professor,
and once you have the top 10 that you need, it's okay. You move on.
Are you a principled man?
Very principled. Very principled.
Why are you principled?
And I said in this country, you may find that if you look at the 20 most principled persons, I'm one of them. Very principled.
So why don't you anchor on something that you believe in instead of moving from one place to another?
I'm not moving. You see, this is where people get it wrong. When you say I'm joining NRM, I'm not taking everything that is NRM. I'm saying I have values. There are things I believe in, there are things I don't believe in. But once you are in there, you contribute towards continuous improvement. That's why we do audits.
You think you'll be able to join and maybe make some improvement within?
Yes, I make my contribution to the party.
When about 500 members of the NRM caucus meet in Chankwanzi, they speak only one language. We ring-fence the candidature. When they meet at the Central Executive Committee and Chobe, they speak one language. But they never debate. In fact, when you have divergent views, you're not even allowed to go in a caucus.
No. I've been through that before. At Makerere, there was a time when I would be talking about things and people say, are you in Makerere or you better leave Makerere? I stayed in there until I reformed it. So when you talk about many people in NRM who can come up when we are few, not like you are going to be this what you call rebels.
This Makerere that you reformed, you aspired to lead it again, and that ended in failure for you.
Let me tell you. You know what happened.
Well, I know that you did not. You aspired to lead Makerere again, but you were never given the mandate, even though here you are telling us that you reformed.
Let me tell you. By the way, that is the misconception people get. I actually, when it came to this time round, I told people, I'm done with Makerere. The people who didn't want me there then were pushing me and other stakeholders. You have an unfinished business, come back. That's why you have not seen me apply for any other vice chancellor position in this country. None. I'm actually been recruiting. You go to Mbarara, you go to Busitema, go wherever. I've been recruiting. I've never applied for any position of vice chancellor. But these people said you have unfinished business and so on. I said, if it's about service, I'm coming back. When I came back into the race, they started rigging. no one can never beat me. That one you can conduct, I don't know, whatever, 100 interviews, you'll never beat me. But you not have that chance because you never contest together again. I said, I'm giving this time or this chance. If you don't give me, I'm out and I'm out.
So this principled man,
Yes.
this very calculative man, could not just make his own analysis. He had to follow the people telling him, you have
Not
unfinished
necessarily.
business, even though you do know that.
You know.
Did you know you have unfinished business? Did you
Unfinished
believe?
business?
Yeah.
Of course, you see, let me tell you, at the time I left Makerere, I had just restructured it. We had come up with a college.
Did it have to take other people, Professor Bariamureba, did it have to take other people to tell you, look, you have unfinished business, come back?
Let me tell you, leadership is about a calling. When people call upon you, even in the Bible, there are people who wanted to be fishermen, but they were called upon and finally they ended up going where they went. And let me tell you, at times, we do unpopular things, but they end up paying off. You don't even just did unpopular things. Even in his own town, they never liked him. But now, how many followers does he have? So many. So for me, it's not about doing what you want. It's about where people are pushing you. So I listen to them like it's the voice of God tell me, go there. And I go there. If it's about service, I'll go there. But
so sometimes you get an epiphany and it tells you to do something. How does the voice of God come to you?
Do you pray?
You get an epiphany. And
do you pray yourself? Why do we pray? You know, every morning, every evening, and other times we do pray. Why do we pray?
So even the movement from your own political journey, like Saul getting his Damascus turnaround, you had some kind of a calling and told you now you have to move this side.
No, let me tell you, with all certainty, it's not just, I don't just take decisions anyhow. Everything I do, I pray about it. So it wasn't I just woke up and say I'm joining NRM. No. Yes, it took me time.
So this
and
is
when I said I'm
joining,
joining,
your joining is
I
a
knew
calling. Your joining is a calling from God.
I know when I said I'm
is that
joining,
what you're telling us?
My mind was very clear. So I knew I was making the right choice, and that's it.
Professor Bariamureba, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. My guest tonight is Professor Vanessius Bariamureba. He's a former presidential candidate. You aspired to lead Uganda, and now you've joined the NRM. Perhaps you still have your inspiration of leading. I just want to move away from the politics local, and because as a former presidential candidate and you wanted to be among the top leaders on the continent, what do you make of Sudanese Omar Bashir's, government, his political journey coming to an end in Khartoum?
You know, that one, actually, there is a very, very big lesson for politicians across Africa and across the world. That in most cases, something you don't consider so important can bring about your downfall. Something like a price of food, like bread. So to me, when you are a leader, you need to remain in touch with the people. And that's where Museveni fits most people within Africa. He remains in touch with the local people on the ground. He wants to know what they want. Is it a district? Is it a road? Is it electricity? He remains in touch with them. But if you just sit in the State House and people tell you this is what the people need, at the end of the day, it can cause you trouble. So it's a sad ending, but it was coming. Everybody saw it was coming. When you see people on the street, and like they are being shot and they come back 1 month, 2 months. If you're a serious politician, you strike a serious deal. And if he had moved like into striking a compromise, he would have served out his term and moved on.
So this kind of ground swelling of resistance, you think it can't happen in sub-Saharan Africa?
Not necessarily. You see, we tend to think that these revolutions can be exported. The environment, the situation in Sudan is different from South Sudan. So you can't export it. You can't take it to a country like Eritrea or even here in Uganda. Not necessarily. Each country you will find its boiling point. Even in Uganda, one day, you never know. That boiling point might get there. And it happens. But each country is different.
What could give us a boiling point?
Like in Uganda?
Yes.
Like if President Museveni realizes that actually he has to leave power and does not think carefully about that transition from him to another person. That is, if he decides to hand over when he's still alive, it can actually take us where South Sudan is.
So you think maybe...
where Sudan is.
Now you think that's a no-go area for us to remain stable. You shouldn't think about...
No, what I'm saying is, as long as Prem 7 remains in power, when he decides to live like the way Castro did, he has to think about it carefully, that transition. Because you remember what happened in Kenya? Moi wanted to put the current president. Things didn't work out. Now, if Moi had resisted Chibaki, Kenya would have burnt into pieces. But he was strategic enough to say, look, Chibaki, we need to have a deal. And they had a deal. And then Moi moved on.
We have seen, Professor Baryamareba, countries where people have led their countries for long, 30 years and above.
Yes.
Whenever those leaders leave, the country is left in turmoil. Does it worry you that President Museveni has led us with stability for now 33 years? But considering the other countries in Africa, when somebody leads for that long, when they leave, in most cases, chaos follows. How can we avoid that?
You see...
Can we be an exception?
Uganda, where we are right now, you need to look at beyond Museveni as a president. Look at the other institutions. You go to the army, security agencies, some of these key institutions, there is always a renewal. So most likely, we can survive like what has happened in Sudan. But if you keep, like if Museveni had kept the same people he had in the bush, and they are there, and then the young people join, they get these military ranks, and then the time comes, they'll be wanting to remove them. But as long as you look at the majority of them, now the majority of the army are guys who joined like in the last 10, 15 years, and the leadership is from those same people. So most likely, you can't get that kind of resistance.
You seem to be happy with the renewal at the lower levels, but not the renewal at the very top.
No, that's what I told you at the very beginning. I've told you NRM is a revolutionary party. It's a revolution. It has a revolutionary leader. So you don't expect the revolution to be changed anyhow with the leader of the revolution. And look elsewhere in the world. Look at South Korea. Look at China. Mao had to die in office. Look at Castro. These are revolutionaries. Even Gaddafi had not been, assassinated by the Western world. He would still be there.
Actually, you are quoted at one point, you were speaking, I think, either in Uganda or Makerere. And you said, if it were possible, we would have a referendum and say there's no more election and President Museveni leads forever. But you were you misquoted on that?
You see, you have to look at the cost of elections we are having. If people had realized in 1986 that President Museveni actually wanted to rule for this long, and like there was no pressure from the Western world to say have elections, would actually be a middle-income country. From the time we started having elections, that's the time we started having a lot of corruption. All these bad things we don't want in our society, they started happening. That's when the number of this started going up, because you have to remain in power. You cannot be there as a president and then wait to be voted out of power. You strategize because you're in power. That's what everybody does. That's what even Trump is doing.
Here is a professor who does not even believe in the renewal of leadership through democracy.
No, I do. But I'm telling you, this is Africa. When people get into power, they entrench themselves. It's just like now in Ghana, Mauritius, and the two other countries. Even South Africa. ANC is still trying to entrench itself in power. So these are realities in Africa. Even America, you know how long it took it? More than 200 years to get where it is today. So we cannot really dream. Even South Korea, you know how much time they used on that? A lot. Singapore, which we look at as a model country, that guy controlled the structures as much as there were elections for all over 27 years.
So are you suggesting that even if you have had elections for 33 years, it's not a long term enough like when you had to turn around this country?
You see, you don't need even 33 years to turn around the country. It depends on the individual in charge of the revolution. Nelson Mandela was in charge of the revolution. He spent 27 years in prison. After 4 years, he said, I'm hanging my boots. He left. But every revolution has to decide. Now, if I was President Museveni as the leader of the revolution, I would have left maybe a long time ago. But you see, he has his vision. He knows what he planned. And let me tell you, you see, like now he has announced very early to say, I'm already presidential candidate for NRM. But you see, in the past, he used to make these pledges of saying, I will not contest again. Remember those articles in New Vision and Monitor? I will not contest again.
He told NTV.
Yes, I will not contest again.
On this very show.
Yes, I will not contest again. And when he makes that offer that I will not contest again, he will not come out early to say I'm a presidential candidate. He will play around with it. The people in there will say maybe he's not coming back. At the last minute, he'll be candidate, and they don't have much time to organize. But in 2016, he had that experience with Right Honorable Mama Babazi, and it didn't work out well. But he managed to ensure that he gets like 1%. Now, he learned from that experiment. This time around, he never made any promises. Age limit was removed early. He never told anybody I'm not going to contest again. They said, let us know the candidate early. Like the way Trump is doing, the way these guys in UK are doing. He's a candidate early enough. People in RM have resigned to it. They know that's what it is. Now, that's why opposition also coming up to say, we need to have candidates early. But you know, that does not affect the country so much. We may say we are politicized. No. He's an executive president. He has ministers. Other people are supposed to do the work. For him, his campaign. You know, in America, campaigns start in the second year. It's a term of 4 years. Second year is already campaigning. Museveni is doing the same thing. What we need is the people below him, the ministers, the permanent secretaries, these people at districts, authorities like KCCA, they should do their work. Politicians at the top are there to campaign and win the next election.
You know, in my line of duty, I've met a number of politicians, I can tell you, including the president, and I have not seen an NRM cadre who has spoken with a lot of gusto and passion about the party, even though, with all respect, you are a Johnny come lately in the party.
No, let me tell you, and I don't want to claim that somebody has been in for long. And let me tell you, even Museveni moved from various parties, remember? He was in UPC, he was in DP, he was in UPM, you know? He was all over the place. But I won't do that. And for me, I'm principled. So, when I was born, because I'm born in a Catholic family, my father was DP. In 1980, I could see him so excited about DP, those elections of DP. Beyond that, I saw NRM. We were all in the movement. After the movement, when they said have political parties, I was the first person to say, I think I should form the current movement. I formed the National Progressive Movement, if you remember. And it was the second party to be registered. And if it wasn't for NRM, it would have been number one party to be registered first. But National Progressive Movement, people are saying, if this party is registered, maybe they could either stop the resistance one because they are more or less the same. But I wanted to reform the movement. And at that time, I actually invited General Mugisha Muntu and others, Porukoro, that you people, you will not manage Kizza Besigye with the reform agenda. You come to this one. I didn't listen. And now when I meet them, we just laugh because it has come full cycle. Now, after that, I realized that actually I was at Makerere and they came up with a law to say you cannot be in public service and be in politics. I tried to kind of withdraw. That's how PPP came. I hand over the party to other people.
So are we likely to see Professor Baryamureeba go back to your native Uganda and then seek for a mandate from the people, maybe come back as a member of parliament? Because I'm asking this because I just want to know how you are going into real, maybe elective politics so that you can be able to play your game in the NRM that now you so much admire.
When I joined NRM, it does not necessarily mean that I have to have an elective position. That's why people get it wrong. Like in Uganda, when I contested in 2001, people were demanding. I contested for parliamentary seat, and people were beaten. You can go and check the results. They were beaten. I was going to win that seat. They were beaten. What? But I said, you know what? Me, I'm a PhD holder. I have a position at Makerere to be director. I came back to Makerere and served as director, dean, vice chancellor, and I was happy. And I don't have no regrets. Now I ran for president. They recently created a municipality in Uganda. I didn't go there. And I'm not going to go there. I'm going to support the politicians there. Me, I'll contribute in my own other ways.
Which
you
ways?
Get it? Which ways? What I'm doing right now. I'm a useful Ugandan. I'm a professor. I can do a lot of work without being employed. Or I can do a lot of work for this country and the region without holding a political office. You know? But if the time comes and I have to hold a political office, I will hold it.
Let me take you to the area of, for example, production.
Yes.
To be precise in agriculture, because this country is biggest percentages into agriculture. But the NRM party, which is in power that you support, puts a paltry maybe 4% into agriculture of its budget. How can we, when we have the biggest portion of our population contributing so less to our GDP. How can we turn around such an economy?
You know, in agriculture, the government's role is to create an enabling environment, like ensure there are markets like these cooperative societies, ensure that people are really supported. But you cannot go and start subsidizing agriculture, like putting money, giving money to farmers. You need to create like a cooperative bank where people can go and get loans.
Yes, but you're talking about something that is good, but it's not not there. Yeah, why?
It's not there.
So
and you see,
so how do you expect to turn around a country that is dependent on agriculture, and yet you're not even putting money?
I'm one person who's been saying that this money you are putting in this youth livelihood program, there's now Operation Wealth Creation and so on. There was NADS. We could better structure it and ensure that the farmers are well supported. But in some cases, some of these programs are aimed at also, like, you look at the rate of return in terms of votes. Which program will give us more votes?
So is it about giving you more votes?
Not necessarily.
Or maybe empowering the people?
That's what I'm saying. If, for example, himself asks me, Barry, what is your view on this? I'll give my honest view that, this is what I think you need to do. But what he does is another issue. Because he's the president. When you ask for advice, you don't take advice the way it is. You take it.
So
you advise it, but the final decision is yours.
Is it real? Does it really make sense
Yes,
for the Kenyan businessmen to or Rwandese or Sudanese to drive up to Uganda or Kamwenge and go into people's gardens and buy maize and take it across the border as grain? And yet we could have done a lot of processing and added value and create jobs for our country.
But that's the whole point. Like you saw today, the president was opening a factory for plywood and so on. We are encouraging you in the private sector. We are all in the private sector. Let us, the private sector, what will develop this country. Let's not continue relying on government. Let us create these businesses. Let us form joint ventures. I've seen people do great work.
But the
environment, the government, it has created roads, electricity, the price of which is going down.
The cost of getting credit facilities in this country is very high. The interest rates
because
are so high.
People are dishonest. People, they take loans and they don't pay back. And we don't even have a history of people, their banking history, So those things have to be improved on. We know there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
It doesn't concern you that our interest rates are so high that even
it
if
concerns me.
Yeah, but how do you expect people to borrow with such interest rates that are so high? You don't have an agricultural bank. And how do you expect them to, at the end of the day, compete?
You see,
and make something.
At the end of the day, we should not only focus on blaming the president. In some instances, we should blame some of his ministers. Somebody is put in a position, they don't deliver. You a PS, you don't deliver.
You have the power to hire and fire.
Yes, I keep telling people, like, you keep blaming the president for everything. But the institutions, me, I was at Makera's VC. I knew that the president was not telling me what to do. You get what I'm saying? And we did what we wanted to do. Government gave us money. We did what we wanted to do. These ministers are given money. Public sectors have money. LOC5 chairpersons, at least, so they have funds and so on. So you cannot continue blaming a president. We should ensure that people are effective. Now, so when it comes to cabinet...
If a system has some kind of managerial constipation, can't you blame those who are leading that system?
But you think the president is going to know each and everybody in this country? Now we have 120 districts. Ministers, I think even some of his ministers, he doesn't know them. These are so many people. So in a way, I think when you are given a position of responsibility, let all of us do something. I know there are people who are ministers of state who are even full ministers. You look around and say, what is it that they have done? You don't see it. Recently, I met an MP, someone was saying, I'm an MP. I said, I looked around, there are so many, some of them, you don't know what they are doing. So really, because you never see them contributing in parliament or anywhere. So let us actually take up our responsibilities as Ugandans.
So why do we have a bloated parliament? Why do we have a bloated cabinet? Then?
Because people wanted it.
Anything.
People wanted it. People wanted so many MPs. Cabinet, everybody's lobbying. People want a minister from every district. Can you imagine?
Is that the reason we are building an Nambola type of parliament chambers down here?
Because people are pushing for it.
Professor
opposition, NRM, they are all pushing.
Professor Bariamureba, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I will be opening the lines so that you too, wherever you are, you can call. You see the numbers on the screen there and ask or make a contribution, add value to this discussion. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. My guest tonight is Professor Vanessa Bariamreva, former presidential candidate. And we're looking to, let me take you to the journey 2021. What do you make of the opposition plans to unite before 2021? But before you go go there, my producer is telling me there are quite a number of people who would want to contribute on this show. So I have some callers online, and I'll be taking the first caller online. Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Professor Kabwejere. I'm calling from Bushenyi.
Yes, Professor. Good to have you, sir.
Okay. Professor Kabwejere from Bushenyi.
Okay.
Yes, Kamara.
Yes, sir.
I propose you don't perpetuate this belief that the government, that the president, he knows everything. Stop that, because you are misleading Ugandans.
I am misleading them how, sir?
You are misleading them by giving an impression that the president, Yoweri Museveni, is responsible for everything that happens in Uganda. That's how you are trying to drive Professor Bariamreva into a pigeonhole. So please, I think
he's digging his own hole and is getting into it.
Even you in this program, if one asked how NTV directs what you say, one would wonder whether you are directed at what you are saying. If ministers they present policies in parliament, they defend them. They have programs. And the president is overall. So if you say the president is, where local government is, he's the one, okay, he's the overall finance, he's in defense, he is in trade, please, we all have responsibilities.
Professor, are you suggesting that there's no leadership role or responsibility when things go right or even go wrong?
Just study the theory of leadership role. Yes, I'm saying leadership. When you are a leader, okay, you may be called accountable for the overall picture, but you must also not overlook the responsibilities of the parts. If you look at the body, you can say the brain and the heart are doing their job, but also the arms, the different organs also play a part that makes the whole.
Professor
in Uganda today, political parties, for example, in terms of providing alternative leadership, do you think they are doing a good job? Huh? Is Museveni the one managing FDC, managing DP, UPC?
Well, I saw them being whipped in Tororo and the other day in Soroti or even in Kaliro. So how do I don't want to speak for them, but I've seen what has happened to them, Professor Tasis Kabwejere.
Yes, you are being whipped. It is your choice. You go into politics. There are things which...
I think that's being very unfair, Professor Tasis. How can you say that somebody is choosing to be whipped?
Well, Mr. Kamara, I haven't seen you being whipped. When you go into the rain and you want to keep dry, you are making a mistake. There are certain rules that you may have to follow.
You are a former minister, a professor, and a senior citizen, and you are telling Ugandans that opposition leaders, for them being whipped, that's okay?
If that is what you have understood from me...
This is what you have said, sir. This is what you have said.
No.
You have spoken with a lot of clarity on that.
Yeah, clarity is a word. I may be clearer than I can be. You want me to be clearer than you are yourself. I am telling you that when you choose to go into a game, there are rules. There may be a referee, but if you also misbehave in that game, you will get chased out. They get a red card.
Well, but in this game, the rules are being changed in the middle of the game. But Professor Tasis Kabwejere, thank you very much for first of all, calling in, and I appreciate your insights on the matter. Even though we may not agree on other things, I still respect you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've been around for 40 years in politics, and I see the country we are leading now, the country we are managing, is better run than ever before. So I can't call it a heaven. This country is not the unique one to be the best in the whole world.
Thank you very much, Professor
Thank you.
Tarsis Kabwejere. What a night. I'm having a professor here, another professor is attacking from that angle. Well, let me get another call online. My producer's letting me have a call online. Hello.
Yes, this is Lens Biahurwa calling from Chegegwa district.
Biahurwa from Chegegwa district.
Yes, I would like to contribute. The problem with opposition people is that they want to mislead this country. Instead of contributing positively, they want always to criticize. We have to borrow from American politics, whereby President Trump is the current president, who is a Republican, okay? Democrats try to bring out the weaknesses of the Republican. But these people of the opposition of Uganda, they're always criticizing, okay? They don't have solutions, okay? And these people are opportunists. Look at DP. If you look at DP, for example, the Democratic Party, Norbert Mao and the rest are fighting against, are fighting each other. There's an infighting, so the opportunists, they wanted even to merge, but these people, they wanted to merge with FDC, but these people are fighting. So if there is an infighting amongst the opposition, how can these people be able to lead this country? So the opportunists, instead of trying to bring out the weaknesses, they must be able to...
Mr. Biahurwa from Chegegwa, thank you very much. You have made your point, and your point is taken. I understand there are quite a number of you would want to participate in this program, so I'm tempted to take maybe 2 more calls, and then we can return to Professor Baryamareva. Yes, sir. Hello?
Hello.
I have a call online. Hello?
I think even professors are prone to senility, so I'm not surprised by Kawajire's submissions.
I didn't get that. Please, could you repeat that? Your phone line is not very clear.
I was saying,
yes, sir.
On the front line? This is the front line.
You are watching On the Spot on NTV.
I'm saying,
yes,
that even professors are prone to senility problems. So Kabajere is one of them, right?
Okay. Well, I don't know. You might disagree with him, but we have to respect each other, even though we disagree. That's the most important thing. I did not pick the last word you said, though. But let me say, should we disagree, it's important, especially when we disagree, to respect each other.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, Kamara.
Good evening, sir.
Nyombe Richard Viemara here. Now, I don't know what came of our professors in this Museveni era, because professors used to be the people who would guide the country and the masses on the way forward. But today's professors are simply insane. Look at Professor Baryamareva. 2 years back, he was contesting against Museveni, saying Museveni is as bad as a crook. Now he has joined him. What kind of professor is that? Oh, God.
Richard, well,
I never said that.
Okay, you will respond to that. My producer says quite a number. Let me just take the last call online. Hello? Hello? Okay. Well,
you know, you are talking about 2021.
Hello?
Yes, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Joel. I'm calling from Tororo.
Gerard from Tororo, you're on air, sir.
Joel.
Joel, okay. I'm sorry about that.
Now, I want to say, we are quite disappointed by the old people that we have, the likes of Kabwejere, and I'm equally getting very disappointed with Professor who's actually on the scene, that they are allowing a lot of kind of disorder in this country.
Okay.
When we accept that President Museveni is tired, he stood for example, the one that is with the studio stood, and now, right now he's talking nonsense, actually.
No. All right, Joel. Whereas we have to debate, disagree, but one important factor that should remain between us as Ugandans, let us disagree respectfully. That is very important. All right.
It's about our attitude and our bringing. And you see, we need to do a lot in this country. Actually, for me, when I was on the campaign trail, you cannot get a single recording where I abused any of my opponents. I presented my ideas, and the time came when the elections were conducted, and that was it. But I think as a country, we need to look at the way we do things.
Okay.
Now, there is this thing you raised of 2021.
Yeah.
I can assure you, as the night of Fourth Day, people are going to be there. But President himself is not going to get less than 65%. You just look at the candidates, those who are saying they are coming up.
They are not yet candidates anyway.
Kiza Besigye, we know he's going to be on the ballot paper. And if you're talking about a single position candidate, it's either Besigye or none. That I can assure you. You get it? So we will say we want a single candidate, but Besigye will say, fine, let's find a single candidate. If it's not him, we'll still contest. So they want to be a single position candidate. If it's him, we'll say, right behind me. We know what Kiza Besigye will get. Now, if my friend, what do you call him? Bobby Wine?
Yes.
If he comes, he'll be lucky to get 2%. But these are realities, people don't want to hear them. Because he has no structures. He will go to Uganda and have a huge rally. After he has left, he will get like 2% of the votes there. Because there is no structure. So now, when we say President Museveni is tired, that's why I told you the revolution.
Are you saying this because you experienced the rough and tumble of a presidential campaign and you got what you got out?
Let me tell you.
Is that the experience you got?
Yes, I'm thinking from a research point of view. I went across the country. I went to every district in this country. I know how this country is like. I know that opposition does not have polling agents in more than 60% of the polling stations. And we expect the Electoral Commission in a developing country like Uganda to really do that work for you. But we also know that some of these people who are returning officers, they belong to a political party. You get what I'm saying? So in a way, if opposition wants to win elections in this country, we need to go back to the basics. Let us have structures. Let us have agents at our agents. I saw in some places, agents of Mama was at a polling station and they got 0 votes. You get what I'm saying? In that polling station. So to me, really, we need to get agents at our agents. You can easily get NRM agents to be agents for FDC and so on, and vice versa.
But also the element of money, the commercialization of our politics.
But at the end of the day, the agents have to be paid. If you put them there and you don't have 100,000 to pay them, somebody will pay them.
No,
and they do what they want.
I'm not even talking about the agents. I'm talking about the voters themselves.
Definitely, the voters want money. They do.
So if you don't have money?
I'm saying this is Africa. You don't claim that you are in Europe or we are in America or in France, that you don't even have to have an agent, the results will come out the way they are supposed to be. No, this is Africa.
Okay, my producer is telling me there are quite a number of you who would want to engage Professor Baryamuneba. And
hello.
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm called Mugabi from Kampala.
Mugabi, you're on air, sir.
I am privileged to be one of the former students of Professor.
Okay.
And Professor Baryamuneba has a lot of systems thinking in him.
Mm-hmm.
And we expected him to advise this government. This government's biggest failures have been in systems. It is obvious when one branch of a tree grows too tall, taller than other branches, that tree has to collapse. No child grows with one hand much longer than others. Now we are stranded with too much electricity, the Wananchi can't buy it. We have too many the roads when we don't have how to use them. The agricultural sector is limping when we have overfunded the military. All things are disorganized. The industries which were concentrated in Jinja, they are now spreading all the abuse of the environment everywhere they are. There is no systems thinking in these people. And as you have said, it is a focus on votes, on
All
how
right.
to get more votes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mugabe there, who is calling from Kampala. I have another caller online. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello,
good evening.
Patrick. Yes, I'm Chairman Raban. I'm calling from Bukoya.
Chairman Raban.
You see, Patrick,
Yes, sir.
I followed the campaigns and I followed Professor Bariamore, but I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed by because there is Professor Bokenya.
Yes.
There is Professor Bariamoreva.
Yes.
But these are the very people we just need to understand critically if they are professors, if their papers are really qualified. Because you see, it's very, very evident that, please, Kamala, that it doesn't require even a rocket scientist to see that the system, Museveni has messed up everything. But I even want to cry on my TV set here.
You wanted to cry?
I even want to cry because I'm looking at the former presidential candidate. He's just talking nonsense and nonsense.
No.
I just want to cry. I just want to cry, please.
No, Mr. Mugabe. Yes, the thing is, one thing I implore you to do is to debate, disagree with respect. Okay. Unfortunately. Hello.
From Mitoma.
Hello.
I'm also about to cry for that man.
You want to cry for this man?
I'm about also to cry.
You're crying for Uganda?
Yeah.
You're calling from Mitoma. What's your name, sir?
He's saying that if Bob Wine is going to get 2%, let him wait and he will see. That man does not need structures.
Okay. Our caller from Mitoma there. Unfortunately, I know there are many of you who would want to contribute.
But you know,
yes,
in this country, people must know that the first thing a politician does is to win elections. The other things are second. Even whether it's an MP, LOC5 chairperson, and so on. That's why our technical people supposed to implement government programs. Okay. But politicians focus on winning elections.
All right, our time is out. Professor Vanessa Bariamoreva, what is going to be your concluding remark?
I just want to tell Uganda, let's wake up to the reality and focus on developing this country. But if people are going to remain with this illusion that they want to remove President Museveni, that is a wastage of time. Let us focus on reality, refocus our efforts, and develop this country. The time will come when this thing of like you want to change leadership will happen even in NRM. But as of now, it's not going to happen.
Professor Vanessa Bariamoreva, you've just had your Damascus turnaround, and
I'm telling people the reality.
Yes, you have joined now, and you seem to be very passionate about what you are doing, and I think we have to wish you all the best because that's what you have chosen to do. You are my OB at St. Leo's College, Chegobe. Thank you very much. I was happy to meet you again. Good night, and God bless Uganda.